WrestleMania is a few hours away, and as we continue the hype and build to it, I hope you enjoy. I've not seen NXT yet, but I hope if you're watching this, you have all enjoyed it. And I think this year might be the year that the actual WrestleMania main card, or any main card, actually outshines TakeOver. I think the card is strong enough that it has the potential to do so. But let's start at the beginning, shall we? Let's start with the pre-show. These are my predictions and a little bit of a preview to what I think will happen. We'll start with the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. And I think we have Elias winning this. Of the people that have been announced that I've seen, I think he makes the most sense. Give him something to do. Give him a win, I think. And the next match, Cruiserweight Championship, the vacant Cruiserweight title, the two finalists from the tournament. Cedric Alexander will take on Mustafa Ali. I think I can see both of these winning it, but I'm leaning more towards Cedric because I've liked Cedric since the Cruiserweight Classic. I think he'll put on a spectacular show. Yeah, I'm picking Cedric. I want him to win. He's been building for quite a little while. I believe now's his time. And the second Battle Royal, the Women's Battle Royal, and just to clarify, I think 2 Battle Royals at WrestleMania is too many. I think one would have been absolutely fine. I think having the women compete for the Andre Memorial Battle Royal is what they should have done, and not have the blokes compete for one. But nevertheless, this women's one, I think what we'll see is that in the end it will come down to Sasha and Bayley, and they'll have a little bit of a one-on-one for 5 minutes or so. That's what I think. So it doesn't feel like just another Battle Royal. So there's something at the end. And I think Bayley is going to win. I'm torn between Sasha and Bayley, if I'm honest with you. I can see, there's a lot of people that could win it, but with Sasha and Bayley having the only story that's going into it, makes sense to me for one of them to be the winner, because it can progress their story going forward. And I think the fact that Sasha has screwed Bayley over, should I say, so many times in the past Elimination Chamber and the Royal Rumble and such, I think it only makes poetic sense or justice that Bayley this time, not screws, but Bayley takes advantage of Sasha and actually ends up winning the match. Which is a shame for Sasha because she hasn't really won anything big for quite a little while, and every title reign she's had, she's lost pretty quickly. But I'm hoping that with this new heel persona of Sasha, when she gets the title, she'll keep it for a little while. But that's the pre-show. I think it'll be interesting to see what it's like with the 2 Battle Royals. The Cruiserweight title in the middle. I think the Cruiserweight title will be in the middle. I don't see them doing a Battle Royal, 2 on the bounce, but we'll see. Then on to the main card. I think the best way that WWE can start this year's WrestleMania is with Rusev winning the US title. I think that will set the crowd off fucking immensely, and I think it will be brilliant. So Rusev's my pick. This and the women's match the Raw women's match is probably the least interested of the matches that I am until they added Rusev, and now I just want Rusev to win so bad. And there's a few of these matches where I'm not too fussed who wins, but this one I really want Rusev to win. Really cut. I don't see it. I don't think they will, because Rusev's a last minute addition. I don't think they're going to give him the title, but I think he can do the most with it, if I'm honest with you. The Raw tag team titles, The Bar taking on Braun and his mystery partner. Now I think Braun's winning this. We don't know yet who his partner is at this point. When his partner's announced, it'll depend who his partner is, but the fact that they're leaving it until WrestleMania leads me to believe it's probably going to be a biggish, literal and metaphorically, tag team partner. For it to be a WrestleMania reveal, it's got to be worthwhile. So I think Braun is his mystery partner. Which one's the next one? The Raw women's match. This match for me is the only match on the card that I would swap for the Cruiserweight title. So the Cruiserweight title could be on the main card. Alexa Bliss defends against Nia Jax, and I think because Alexa Bliss is by far the best heel in the women's division across both brands, Alexa Bliss, I think, is going to retain. I know there's a lot. I know that it makes sense for Nia Jax to get her revenge on Alexa Bliss, but there's going to be a lot of feel-good moments at WrestleMania, and WrestleMania isn't going to be littered with feel-good moments and things going the way we think they should go. And I think let Alexa Bliss retain, keep her heel momentum going forward, because the end of the heel at this point really, if any, it's noteworthy, is really just Sasha Banks, and she's only just tipped her foot back in the heel side of life, if you like. So I think Alexa Bliss to retain, and I don't like Nia Jax either, so that's also a very big reason behind it. I think we'll break up these title matches with Ronda Rousey taking on Kurt Angle. Team with Kurt Angle, in fact. That'd be a match, wouldn't it? Fucking hell. To take on Steph and Triple H, and I think Ronda and Kurt are winning this, with Ronda breaking Steph's arm and Kurt breaking Triple H's ankle. That's what I think is going to happen. That's what I'd like it to happen. Hopefully this one's nice, short and compact match. I think Kurt and Triple H maybe do 70% of it. Or maybe Steph gets a little one-up on Ronda. The men tag in. They go crazy. And then we finally get to see Ronda beat the snot, that he swore there, out of Steph. But yeah. Next match, the Women's SmackDown title. And Asuka is winning this all day long, I think. It's not time to end the streak. I don't necessarily believe that this should be the foundation to a Ronda versus Asuka next year's WrestleMania, but I think Asuka's time, Asuka's streak is not time for it to be gone. Keep the streak alive for a bit longer. I'm not saying a year, but at least this year's WrestleMania. I think Asuka's beating Charlotte in what should be a hell of a match. The SmackDown tag titles, the triple threat. Usos versus New Day versus Bludgeon Brothers. This one's a bit difficult for me. I want the Usos to win because of just the tremendous work they've put in over the past few years. And recently with this heel turn, then the heel turning morphed into more of a face team. I like the Bludgeon Brothers. I'm not fully behind the gimmick itself. But Usos, I think, will retain. And I want them to. I don't think New Day are going to win. I think it's between Bludgeon Brothers and Usos for me. And for me, the Usos, the fact they've never been to WrestleMania, and for them to retain the title is like not a pat on the back because it's patronising, but you've done well. You deserve this kind of situation. So I'm picking the Usos. And the Intercontinental Championship triple threat. I think Finn Balor is winning this off The Miz. I wouldn't mind Seth or Miz, or Finn, sorry. I don't want to see The Miz without that title anymore. I want to get Miz away from that title because I'm sick of seeing that fucking white belt around The Miz's shoulder. I like The Miz. His promos and that are fantastic, but it's boring now for me. It's boring. I want to see him do something else. Even if it's so Miz can take some time off and do just some, press interviews and stuff, just so he can spend some time with his daughter. Because I think The Miz, once again, it's like The Miz is having that time off, I think. And Finn Balor needs something. I mean, he won that Universal title and it lasted 24 hours. He had to vacate it and he's done nothing since. So I think The Miz, I can get them mixed up. Finn Balor, what should I say? I think should be winning that. And then the tag team match of Daniel Bryan teaming with Shane versus KO and Sami Zayn. Now this one I've gone back and forth on a bit more. I think I'm guilty of overthinking this because of obviousness just says Daniel Bryan's returning. Daniel Bryan's going to win, and then the fact that Shane and Bryan have really pushed the fact that if KO and Sami lose, they're going to leave and go to. They're going to leave SmackDown, not WWE entirely, so they're probably just going to go to Raw. But is that a bit of a red herring, though? Is it? Are they going to surprise us? I mean, the thing is, if KO and Sami leave, SmackDown have no top heels at all, really. They don't have any. I mean, the only other heels I can think of off the top of my head are Baron Corbin and Dolph, which both can just fuck off, if I'm honest with you. So I think it's WrestleMania swerve. I think KO and Sami are going to win this. and pin Shane. I really do. I think it'll make SmackDown so interesting to watch. I think if Kane and Sammy lose and they just go to Raw, it doesn't really give you a reason to watch SmackDown because they've gone. But if they win and they're still on SmackDown, I'm tuning in to SmackDown to watch what happens. I really am. So it's probably going to cost. I'm probably going to be wrong. So it's probably going to cost me. But I'm picking Daniel Bryan. I'm picking Daniel Bryan and Shane to lose. And the Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. I think Roman Reigns. Then the whole year has been building towards it. Harry's shaking his head because he doesn't want Roman to win. You want Brock, don't you, Harry? But the whole build has been building to Roman. I think this build, let's get it done. Let's get it done. Let's get the title on Roman. Let's just fucking move past it. I don't need Brock in WWE anymore. If I'm honest with you, let's move past it. Give Roman the title. Brock, whatever he's going to do. If you're going to stay for a little bit, then whatever he's doing, I'm fine with it. Let's just move past this year-long, this obvious year-long build that no one's really been that hyped for. Though I have been hyped for, the match it should be the main event, that probably won't. AJ Styles versus Nakamura. And this one I've gone back and forth on as well. I'm leaning more towards AJ Styles based on the fact that Nakamura won in Japan. So now AJ will win in America. That's the conclusion I've come to. Whoever wins, I don't mind. I'm equally as happy whoever wins. I'm also picking AJ because I love AJ Styles, if I'm honest with you. I've got a lot of time for Nakamura, but I love AJ Styles. I do think if Nakamura wins, the rematch shouldn't be until SummerSlam at least. But Nakamura, AJ Styles, this one's been tough. I think I'm going for AJ Styles. Just based on the fact that it's in WWE. And I don't think WWE book that far ahead, as in having a rematch at SummerSlam. I don't think they do that anymore. But yeah, AJ Styles. And if it happens, I've just rattled off 13 matches we've seen at WrestleMania, including the pre-show. I don't think there's time for an Undertaker versus John Cena match without 2 or 3 other matches suffering, if I'm honest. We might get a little interaction between them. I don't know if it's going to be a full-blown match. If it is, Undertaker's winning, if you ask me. Cena doesn't need it to keep Undertaker's streak not alive, but to keep the allure and just the power of that streak. He can't lose again. He can't lose a third time. And Cena doesn't need it. So that's what I think. If that match does happen. A lot of title matches. For me, there's going to be a lot of title changes. This could be a brilliant show. It's a long fucking show, but it still could be brilliant. As long as it's paced right, as long as the matches are as good as they can be. We'll see. Will WrestleMania be better than TakeOver? That's also a big question. I think it's got the potential to be. If you ask me, he's got the potential to be. So let me know what you think in the comments. What are your predictions? Do you agree with any of mine? Do you disagree? Let me know. Like, dislike. Come and be at the Jobber Club. Subscribe, and hope you enjoy WrestleMania. Goodbye.